La Selección Mexicana has finally done it. They have won their first ever Nations League title, beating Panama 2-1 in the final. 2 goals from Raul Jimenez, yet again making him the hero on the night. But what did we learn from Mexico's Nations League campaign against Canada, against Panama? I'm gonna give you guys 3 things that I learned from this Nations League campaign. So as always, if you liked the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get right to it. We're only gonna talk about the Final Four here. I'm not gonna talk about the qualifying stages of the Nations League or the quarterfinal against Honduras. That's already been talked about, and it was a long time ago. Well, it wasn't that long ago, but you get what I mean. I had the fortunate pleasure of attending both games, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric. But 2 games, one against Canada, a 2-0 win, and one against Panama, a 2-1 win. The games weren't perfect. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. Could have done a lot better. Kind of struggled a little bit, but this leads on to point number 1, that Raul Jimenez is our best player right now. He is our best forward. And like I said right now, there were 2 tough games, but the difference in the games was Raul Jimenez. His first goal against Canada wasn't the prettiest, bro. It kind of rebounded and then landed right at his feet, but it was a good finish. Second goal's a wonderful free kick from him, really putting the team on his back with that one. And then against Panama, a good cross in and a nice header from him, and then a clutch penalty in the 90th minute. A lot of people were mad when Raul Jimenez was chosen to start over Santi, according to reports. That obviously didn't come into fruition. They played together, but Raul Jimenez is definitely our best striker. Look, I'm not a Santi hater, but I have to admit that he is just not ready to be the sole striker for the national team. If you're gonna only play one striker, Raul Jimenez is the way to go. He has better link-up play, better hold-up play, he's better in the air. He's just overall better than Santi, and I'm not saying that Santi's not good at what he does, and what he does is finish the chances that he gets and be a poacher around the box and all that. But Santi kind of needs everything done for him, and right now our team is just not equipped for that. He has to improve with certain aspects of the game, and yeah, Raul Jimenez, you can see he takes more touches than him, he completes more passes, he wins more aerial duels than him. It's just hard to argue right now that Santi should be the starting striker, especially when he hasn't scored since the game against Panama in the Gold Cup final. I don't doubt that Santi will eventually start scoring, but right now at this moment, if you were to pick one striker for the Gold Cup to start, it's Raul Jimenez. Even though I like the 2-striker system that they're doing, and I feel like that's key to get Santi more involved because it takes the pressure off him to do the hold-up play, to do the link-up play. But yeah, it's just great to see Raul Jimenez back in his best form, his second prime, if you will. 4 goals in 2 games. He scored all of our goals in the Nations League Final Four, and it was just great to see him after years of not playing that well for the national team. After basically only scoring penalties for a bit, he got to 3rd in Mexico's all-time scoring charts, and who knows, man, maybe he can break Chicharito's record with this hot streak. I wouldn't put money against it, but we'll just have to wait and see about that, bro. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But yeah, man, after his head injury, he's really coming back with a bang, and hopefully he can get that World Cup goal in 2026, which has eluded him for so long. He didn't play much in 2014, he didn't play much in 2018, and in 2022, well, we know he was injured and still decided to go, which is when he started receiving a lot of criticism and people not wanting him on the national team. But now he's proving everybody wrong, and my point number 1, Raul Jimenez, our best player, our best forward, and yeah, man, he really did mark the difference for this team. Second thing that we all learned, that we all saw was obvious, our midfield is garbage. Our midfield is straight garbage, man. Now, with Javier Aguirre switching to a 4-4-2, that means you only have 2 true midfielders. With the midfield that we had, it is very hard to play just 2 midfielders, bro. The first game, we had Eric Lira and Charlie Rodriguez there, and Eric Lira is good for, going back, providing the more defensive work, but offensively, I mean, he had only scored his first goal in football like a couple months ago for Mexico. And Charlie Rodriguez, well, he's Charlie Rodriguez, he's kind of ass at everything. But yeah, man, if you're going to be playing 2 midfielders only, they need to be very, very good on the ball, good defensively. And in the second game, with Edson Alvarez playing center back the first game, they moved him back to midfield. And with just 2 midfielders, Edson does not work as a midfielder, bro. He can't do that, especially if you're playing him alongside Luis Romo, who's basically doing the same things he is. And this is where players like Elias Montiel, Marcel Ruiz, Obed Vargas come in. They provide you something different. They're younger. They're going to provide hunger, drive. They're going to be a bit more creative, because we don't have the most creative midfield. I mean, our most creative midfielder is Luis Chavez, and I don't even think he's that good. Or Orbelin Pineda, you can play him, but I mean, he's more of an attacking midfielder. And if you're only playing 2 midfielders, and one is an attacking midfielder, one is more of a defensive midfielder, and Edson and Orbelin, then it's just leading to disaster and getting dominated in the midfield, which they kind of did both games. Both games, we had less passes than the opponent, we had less possession than the opponent, and this obviously has to do with the midfield just not being good enough. Want to see a bit more creativity. A lot of times in the second game where Edson's playing midfield, and just like his lack of creativity, his lack of picking out a ball, his lack of like being a good passer in general, really just kind of hurt us offensively. That's not to say Edson doesn't have a place on the team. He's the captain, he's great, but if it were me, I'm taking out Cesar Montes. He was our best defender in the second game, but I feel like Edson could do that job just fine. And you slide in another midfielder, maybe an Elias Montiel, just get him in the lineup, and the midfield just thrives a little more. But yeah, man, Edson cannot be playing midfield if we're only going to be playing 2 midfielders. But yeah, everybody knew this was going to be a thing, especially with the call-up list. That like obviously was the worst position on the pitch. And if you're only calling up like 5 midfielders, and Orbelin Pineda is one of them, and he's one of the better ones, and he's going to get benched because he's not going to fit the system, then what are we doing here, bro? Call up Elias Montiel, call up Marcel Ruiz, call up Obed with Vargas. And yeah, this will all be good. Moving on to my third point from these games. We're going to make it a positive one here, bro. We're going to make it a positive because we're going to end off in a positive note because we did just win the first CONCACAF Nations League. And I was at the game, so it was a little sweeter, you know, seeing Raul Jimenez hit that celebration or lack of celebration while scoring the second penalty was amazing. But the third point is that the players look like they give a shit once again. Look, man, we could talk about how our midfield wasn't the best for the two games. How the games were a lot harder than they should have been, especially the one against Panama. That one should have been like a 3-0 win. How players struggled, you know, how Santi Jimenez still hasn't scored. We can talk about all that. But the players gave it all, bro. They looked hungry the first game. They looked like they wanted to win. They looked like they needed to win, like Henry said. And that's all you could really ask for, you know. The performance can be as bad as you want, bro. As bad as it gets. But to me, I'll always be satisfied that the players are giving everything. If they're going in for every tackle, if they're going in 100%. Because, you know, that's football, bro. Stuff isn't going to work out every single time. But if you see the players give a shit, if you see them going after it, then it's hard to not support them. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, even though the performances weren't the best, it's nice to see the national team on a good note, winning a trophy for the first time. And we'll be back at SoFi Stadium. That time I will vlog, bro. I didn't vlog this time because I just don't like bringing my camera in. But I have to learn to get over that. But yeah, man, as always, what do you guys think about the points I had to make? I was a little harsh on Santi Jimenez, I agree. But at the end of the day, I just expect very good things from him and I want him to score. He has the potential to be Mexico's all-time leading scorer. I mean, you see Jimenez right now. Raul, that is. But yeah, next international break actually isn't that far off. So we'll just see what happens. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you guys think.